Good morning. Hello, I'm Marianne. I'm in Team Europe and I'll be your moderator for this session. I would like to introduce Ricardo Flores, a Knowledge Management Officer at Solar Impulse Foundation. He will be getting us acquainted with Efficient Solution Label, how the Solar Impulse Foundation is selecting and boosting the adoption of clean and profitable technologies. Here you go, Ricardo.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Ricardo Flores, and I am a Knowledge Management Officer for the Solar Impulse Foundation, which is based in Lausanne, Switzerland. So before I start with the presentation, just to explain a little bit of my role here within the foundation. So as someone who works with knowledge management, as the name says, I'm mostly responsible for the creation, storage, and sharing of the knowledge within the foundation, but also with our external stakeholders. The idea behind my role is to treat knowledge as an asset and make sure that everyone has access to it, not only ourselves as employees, but also the externals, the clients that we work with, the innovators, the investors, the companies, the public agencies. And with that being said, I will pursue then with my presentation. I just would like to share my screen with you. So there we go. So yes, today, 22nd of September, I'm here to talk about the Efficient Solution Label, which is a label that has been created by the Solar Impulse Foundation, if you don't know yet, and to talk about our adoption of clean and profitable technologies. What we do, and if you do have questions in the end, we have a Q&A. We'll write them, and then I also have asked the moderator to interrupt me at any time. If there's any urgent question, I'll be more than happy to reply them straight away. Solar Impulse Foundation, I think it's very, very extremely important to talk about this man here, Dr. Bertrand Piccard, which initiated the with a full. So Bertrand was our initiator, and also the foundation in ecology and the importance of uniting ecology with economy, thinking about ecology with the lens of the profitability. This is why when we talk about the Efficient Solution Label, we will be talking about the foundation more broadly and our key activities. So today, our key activities are mainly surrounding the certifying. So as I said, we have a labeling scheme in place. We actually scout for innovations that might be eligible for this label. We assess them internally, and then we send to external experts as well to validate the internal assessment, and also to do a environmental impact, so based environmental impact evaluation of these innovations. We do work on accelerating the implementation, as the title of this presentation said, and that involves a series of activities and platforms as well. I will be talking about them later on. We work with financing or creating financing or capital opportunities for the innovators, and we do advocate for the clean and profitable solutions, which I'll be mentioning here throughout the presentation as efficient solutions. So in the certifying aspect, we take 5 criteria into consideration. The first one is the credibility of the technology. Basically, the question we're trying to understand here is if the innovation in question can, and the technology within it can be constructed and operated as it was designed. And for all those criteria, the assessment is done using a binary system at yes or no. So the innovation can either pass or fail the criteria. The second point is the scalability. So we try to understand if the activities and processes required to produce and operate and to distribute and deliver the solution are feasible at the intended scale. By intended scale, we mean that we're not only aiming or opening the labeling scheme for large scale, but for the intended scale. So that includes a small and medium scale as well. The environmental benefits, and this is done through a solution environmental impact assessment tool. So it's a simplified environmental impact assessment based on the energy consumption and also on the equivalence of CO2 emissions throughout the whole life cycle. The fourth point, the fourth criteria, is the client's economic incentive. As I said, the label is to unite ecology and economy. So that means that we will be assessing not only the environmental performance of these innovations, but also the economic performance. And within the economic performance assessment, we're trying to understand if the total cost of ownership of this solution is lower when compared to a mainstream alternative. And then the fifth point is the seller's profitability. So within the next 5 years, is the innovator offering the solution capable of achieving the break-even point? So if yes, so yes. If no, then the solution fails. So how the process works, in very simple words, the solution is submitted by a member of the Wood Alliance, which I will explain later on. It's our alliance uniting different stakeholders. And then this solution is pre-screened internally. Then once it's validated internally, sent to external experts. For each solution that's submitted, we have 3 experts assessing it. Then once the assessments are done, we validate it then based on the assessment methodology that we have created. And then we declare the final outcome of this label. So either the solution is labeled or rejected. And once the labeled decision is sent, the notification is sent to the innovator, it will also come with the assessment summary report that will have all the comments of the experts that have assessed this solution. And this is good because the innovators, even the ones that failed, would have a proper feedback and they know the points to be improved. Okay, so once with the labeling scheme being explained, we have today 1,423 efficient solutions. That means that our labeling scheme labeled for the first time. It was developed later in 2017 and labeled the first solution in 2018. So since then, roughly four and a half years, we have labeled over 1,400 solutions. I will show you a couple of examples here that are more related to lubrication. I'll let you scan the QR code if you want to know more about the solutions and what they come from, or the companies selling these solutions. But basically, what I want to display here is just the environmental and the economic points, which you will find on the web page if you scan the QR code. So this is a solution from Netherlands. That's lubrication technology for grease shipping, and it comes with both an environmental benefit and an economic benefit. So it's a solution that addresses the friction of the ship and can reduce up to 1 ton of fuel when sailing. So this equals to a 3.2 tons of CO2 emissions equivalent saved. And the payback for the solution is 2 to 3 years. And also the solution can bring you up to 20% of fuel consumption reduction. So these are the typical data that can be provided as public information after we assess a solution. And this is what you'll find on the website. Just to scan the QR code. So I'll go to the next one. Fuel for Life. It's also a lubrication for this time for turbine. So for the aviation sector, here they have shipping sector just before, and then the aviation sector in this slide to show you those are both industries that have a high CO2 emission rate. And the solution that comes right to next to Netherlands and Belgium. And you can also learn more about the solution and the company offering it by scanning the QR code. So I'll pass into the accelerating phase. So the first, up until now, I have been explaining a lot about how our labeling scheme works. So when the Solid Push Foundation was founded, the idea was to develop and research all the technology into solar air panels and into building an airplane that could fly around the world using only solar energy. And that was achieved in 2016. I will explain this a little bit later, but The foundation, as I'm explaining it now, is basically the foundation that exists after the creation of what we call the Solar Impulse Alliance or the Wood Alliance for Efficient Solutions. And this is basically something that came, and the reason why we created the label. So the idea of this alliance was to create a network that could comprise most stakeholder platforms that would create opportunities for the implementation of clean and profitable technologies. So by that, we decided to bring together innovators, investors, and also all the other organizations that are seeking clean and profitable technologies to be gathering into the same network. And this network was launched right before the label. And the labeling scheme was a way that we found to select and to prove that the technologies that would be bringing into the network would have the economic and the environmental performance, as I mentioned. So this is basically the stage of most of our activities today as a foundation. We, beyond the labeling scheme, we have several departments of the foundation that are in charge of maintaining all the activities within the alliance, and also to engaging all the stakeholders within the alliance. So this slide, I think, is one of the most important ones of this presentation, because then it will explain the types of stakeholders we work with, how we relate to them, and how our network approach is important to the work we do. So you see here on the upper left corner, the Solar Impulse Foundation. Again, the picture of Dr. Bertrand Picard, which is the initiator of our foundation, and how we related. So the first to the other stakeholders. So the first one is business, right? So we wanted innovators. We wanted companies that were posing different products, services, or processes that could have that environmental and economic performance. So we related to them not only for the ones offering, but also for the ones and the bigger players that are looking to those technologies. So in that, we have the innovators, and also we have the seekers. On the lower left corner, we have the investors, of course, because beyond the business opportunities, we need also to create access to capital. So in order for the solutions to scale up or to increase their commercialization levels, we need them to receive the funds that they need. So that's the reason why we engage the investors. And so we link to the business, we link to the investors, we also link to the experts, because we needed the expertise to understand the information that is provided by the innovators, and to understand what are the best technologies that we want to include in our portfolio. These experts, they come from business sectors, they are independent consultants, they are from academia, they are from the government, so they come from different areas and different types of employers, and they all contribute to the foundation voluntarily. Today we have a community of roughly 400 experts that have been assessing solutions for our labeling scheme. And then we have the public sector as well. We know that public procurement it's a very important piece of the puzzle. We know that not only for cities, for regions, or for countries, the government is in need for clean and profitable technologies, for technologies that have a lower environmental impact. So we needed to bring them all within the alliance as well. So all these stakeholders here, we work constantly with them. We have a department that's responsible for the stakeholder engagement strategies at the foundation. And then we liaise with them to maintain all of them within the alliance. So the alliance today has roughly 4,000 members, and they all united based on the same goal, which is boost the implementation of efficient solutions. And here, efficiency is, I know that's a concept that's very much related to lubrication, to increase efficiency of machinery. But for us, efficient solutions means solutions that can create business opportunities in a profitable way, and also solutions that can bring lower environmental impacts. So it's basically the union of economic and environmental performance that means efficient solutions for us. And of course, because we needed a broader agenda as well, we need to be linked to a broad agenda. We also work a lot into achieving the sustainable development goals through the maintenance of the network. So we also align with the UN 2030 agenda, and more particular with the SDGs 6, 7, 9, 11, and 12, which are very broad, but they summarize the scope of the solutions we have in our portfolio and also the activities that we do within the network. So on the accelerating, of course, how do you maintain, if we're only based in Switzerland with a few offices in different countries, we're only a 50 people organization. So how do we maintain them? So everything, as these presentations being done, everything is done virtually. And we need to display also the information that we have on the solutions virtually. And when I asked you to scan the QR code, it was mainly to see the respective solutions web page that all gather into the search engine called the Solutions Explorer. So if you access the Solar Impulse from the solarimpulse.com, you will find this tool. There's basically a marketplace like tool, and which you can browse and search using different filters. And then you can also click on the solutions page, and at the bottom of the page, you can get in contact with the innovator behind the solution. The reason why we created this is just to have an open source, so an open platform that people could access, and this way we can also create different business opportunities or even investment opportunities, giving them the right to be put in contact with the innovators offering these solutions. Another thing that we do for the acceleration is the innovation challenges. So when we know that one of our corporate partners, which are big players in the industry, they want a certain type of technology, or they want to open a call for innovation, we are co-organizing this with them, and then we invite all the innovators offering relevant technologies. And this has proven to be a very good opportunity for them to pitch their business case, and also has created some business opportunities with successful implementation cases already in the past. So the financing is of course very important. We have two kinds of activities in our investment relations team. The first one is to actually organizing the e-pitches, which are those sessions are also organized very like the innovation challenges. They're organized by topic or by theme, and then we invite the innovators that are interested, and also the investors within the community that are interested. So it's basically a matchmaking, is a B2I matchmaking platform. And the investment funds are the funds that have been created with partners of the foundation, has released 400 million to dedicate only to solutions that have been awarded the efficient solution label. And these investment funds, they are they aim to follow the SFDR, which is basically a way of measuring the investments in a way that we take care of the environment, social, and governance. So they are related to ESG metrics, and they are called, as the Article 9 guidelines say, dark green funds. So this is mainly for the European market, of course, because these are guidelines that are into force within the European Union. And the funds are also focusing on North America and Israel. Okay, so the last point that I mentioned that are part of our key activities is advocating. We know that in order to convince stakeholders and decision makers that ecology and economy need to walk side by side, and that it's important to implement the efficient solutions, we need to create an advocacy effort that comes mainly with our main ambassador, which is Bertrand Piccard, and he is a very influential person that occupies the chair position in very important institutions, and also has an outreach that gives a lot of visibility to the foundation. But we also rely a lot on our team. As I said, our team, it's only composed of 50 people, but we try to be in different types of platforms, from low to high level, from private sector to public sector. We try really to engage with all the stakeholders. Now, after COVID, with the events, physical events coming back, we have been attending several of them, especially now from September to November. It's very likely that if you're attending any events in sustainability or clean tech, you might run into one employee of the Solar Impulse Foundation within Europe. And we also have ambassadors. So these are coming from the expert community. So these external experts that help us with the labeling scheme, some of them also helps us with the advocacy efforts. And most of those people there, they have 20 to 30 years of experience in the industry. So of course they can add a lot of value to the advocacy through sharing knowledge, sharing expertise, and supporting and endorsing the solutions as well. So just to summarize, as an organization, what we have achieved up until now, it's we have been created in 2003, as I said. In 2016, we completed the flight around the world in a solar-powered airplane. And 2 years later, we labeled the first solution, the XO 1000. And since then, we have been labeled with 3 years later having achieved the 1000 efficient solutions mark. So only 3 years after, we managed to label 1000 solutions. And since last year, we have 423 more, as I mentioned earlier on the presentation. We also do a lot of reporting, and we prepare written guides compiling the efficient solutions and offering them at a targeted client or a targeted partner. And that can be related to a topic and also related to the necessity or the environmental challenges of a particular region. So in November 2021, we prepared the solutions guide for Scotland. So we have looked into the Scottish climate plan and identified the compilation of solutions that would be relevant to them and to target the environmental challenges. And we have prepared the solutions guide for Scotland, presented at the COP last year in Glasgow. This year, we have in May the release of the Solutions for Cities initiative, which is basically targeted at city mayors, city coalitions, regions, and any public agency in Europe working with cities or cities' environmental challenges. So this is a compilation of several topics and several environmental challenges that we have identified in common within European cities and also cities overseas. And then we compile them all into this overview. And we also have created a coalition in order to extend the overview and extend its application. The latest release was the Prêt à Voter campaign. This is something that's focused on the French authorities and territories. And the idea was to prepare 50 recommendations that could influence deputies and senators to modernize the regulatory framework. And the campaign was all based in, if this technology exists, why don't the regulation is like this? So it's a very technology solution-oriented focus campaign. And we have been doing this only in France for now, but the idea is to create a model that we can replicate in other countries as well. In 2023, a lot to come, more coalitions, more initiatives, more campaigns for public authorities. And we've been working into extending this geographically as well and try to go outside of Europe, try to liaise with different stakeholders. The World Alliance it's a 4,000 member network, so we need to engage with all of them and go to other countries as well. If you want to learn more about the Solutions for Cities initiative, I kindly ask you to scan the QR code. You will find the overview. I think it's a 20 to 40 page document, if I'm not mistaken. And you will see all the solutions within the initiative, and also our recommendations, the people who collaborate with us, the institutions that have been involved as well in the report. And later on, we can also find in the same page the members of the coalition. Here's the overview of all our partners, collaborators, and people and institutions that endorsed us. We have the supporting partners, which means the companies that finance us as a foundation. We don't have any income from the labeling scheme, nor for the activity we do, so we rely on the supporting partners. We have the collaborators from the public sector. Most of them also finance us. We have the auditing partner for our labeling scheme, who gives a third-party validation for the process, which is UI. And we also endorsed in many other ways. We have established many collaborations throughout the past 5 years in order to expand our network and also to make sure that we exchange knowledge, expertise, that we have our synergies complemented with other organizations also working for clean tech and sustainability. So this is my presentation for today. I thank you very much for having followed until here. And if you have questions, I think we still have a few minutes and I can reply to them. Thank you. I'm not sure I hear you.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
I forgot to unmute. Thank you very much for your interesting session, Ricardo. I have no chats in my inbox, but if there are any questions, please post them right now because we still have a couple of questions left. And if not, I will finish this session after a couple of minutes. Thank you so much, Ricardo, and maybe see or speak to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.